Hello! That is so cool. What's up, guys? It's Araya here. Welcome back to Living Big in a Prius. Today I am in a nifty little tunnel here in Johns Creek. That's just north of Atlanta. And this is a pretty cool tunnel that I found a few weeks ago, and it's really cool. You would never guess like where this is. It's like right next to a plaza. There's a Starbucks and a Five Below over there, like behind me. And just give you a little 360. Let's see, back there it's plaza. So yeah, it's a little reverby here, but I thought this tunnel was really cool, so I wanted to film here. So today I am giving you finally my full review of the RTR, and as you guys know, if you watch my previous videos, I worked 7 days a week in December in order to pay for my trip to the RTR. Not because the trip itself was expensive. The trip itself was really cheap. It was literally like $350. And it was all of the bills that I had to pay while I was gone. That I'm a perfect example of just how much it costs to live in a sticks and bricks versus living on the road. This is exactly why I want to live on the road, because the entire trip, 2 weeks in the desert, driving across the country, 2,000 miles each way, only cost me $350. Most vacations, you know, are at least $1,000, so that was incredible. That just goes to show you how much it costs to live in sticks and bricks versus living on the road. The trip was cheap, and I didn't even go through half of the food that I brought with me, and I spent $100 on food, so that gives you an idea. So the RTR itself, wow, it was amazing. It's first of all, 2 weeks in the middle of the desert will change you. All right, just, you know, forget the RTR for a moment. Just spending 2 weeks camping in the middle of the desert will change you for a lot of reasons. You get a lot of alone time. You are spending time out in nature. With so many people there, you have the camping aspect of it. You can see other people. You could just go up to people's RVs and knock on the door, and you know, you get that community aspect when you're camping with a bunch of other people. But it's also the desert, so it's a huge desert, so you get a lot of alone time as well. And so as for the RTR aspect, I had campfires every night. We had s'mores almost every night. People cooked food for each other, and there was live music. We were playing music for each other, and just visiting all the different themed campsites was really cool. I got to see the Milky Way galaxy every night. Just, who gets to see the Milky Way galaxy every night? Nomads. You know, if they really want to, you know, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna see a million times more stars than you normally would. You just look up and just stare and take it all in. So that was an amazing experience. This whole thing was a very spiritual experience. This was a lot of healing for me at the RTR. Things in my life have been crazy the past few years, and I really needed this break. I really needed a good solid 2 weeks where I did not have to worry, for the most part, about money or working or anything, and just breathe. So just for me personally, like that did a lot for me. As for the RTR itself, it was really well run. It was really well organized. It was my first time going. This, I believe, was its 9th year, and I didn't hear the final numbers, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say there were at least 7,000 campers there. Rigs there, people there. Yeah, and so many. So there was no way to like see everything or see everybody. The RTR schedule had about 2 to 3 sessions per day, and you didn't have to go to all of them. You just go to the ones you were interested in. They were very helpful, very useful. Hawkeye came to speak, and I got to sit there for his his little presentation, and that was amazing. And I had never heard of him before. And he's the writer of a Buddhist boot camp. Now has a radio show on YouTube. So definitely go check him out, because he was really, really awesome to listen to. He had a lot of insights about spirituality and how we run our society and how we run our lives, and he's got a lot of insights and a really, really good advice for people who are kind of maybe seeking spiritual guidance. So you don't have to be Buddhist, obviously, just listen to him, and like a lot of the principles he's talking about can be applied to anybody's life, really. You don't have to be Buddhist. So yeah, shout out to Timber Hawkeye. He was awesome. He was definitely a highlight of the RTR for me. And of course, Bob Wells. Bob Wells is amazing. I got to meet him and take a picture with him, and he's just really cool and down to earth. Really great guy. I got to meet Cody. That was awesome. He's put a lot of work and his own money into this event and running it every year, so that all of these people, nomads and aspiring nomads, can get together and have this camaraderie. Being a nomad can be a lonely experience sometimes, and so I think it's very important for people to get together, and even people who aren't nomads. I mean, we live in a very segregating and isolating culture just in general. So even if you live with people, humans tend to live a very isolated lifestyle, and they don't really talk to their neighbors. Like, not many people talk to their neighbors anymore. And so this is good for people who don't live on the road too. So I highly recommend the RTR to just everybody. It's a great experience. I think everybody should do it at least once, or at least go on a camping trip, somewhere where you can kind of reconnect with nature, reconnect with yourself and the people important to you in your life. I got to talk to the most down-to-earth, the most generous people that I have ever met at the RTR. That was probably the biggest takeaway from this, was just meeting all of the amazing people and hearing their stories, and hearing how they got into van life and car life and RV life and just the whole nomad life. And this whole experience, like I said in the other video, just kind of reconfirmed for me that I want to live this lifestyle full time, all the time, because for so many reasons, for the emotional reasons, the spiritual reasons, the financial reasons, it just makes sense. It just totally makes sense to live on the road versus sticks and bricks. And obviously it's not for everybody, but it is right for me. And as a first-time goer to the RTR, I highly recommend heading out there to Arizona, to Quartzsite, Arizona, next year for 2020. I'm sure it's going to be big, and they have a lot of great, accommodations for special needs too, and sensitive groups. So if you don't like crowds, you can still, find, lots of alone time, because it's such a big desert. You can have your own little campsite if you want to. So yeah, there's something for everybody there, and I think people will really get a lot out of it. And it's still a small event. Like, most people haven't heard of the RTR. When I tell people about the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, they've never heard of it. They've heard of Burning Man, but they haven't heard of the RTR. So I tell them about it, and they're like, I want to go to this. This sounds really cool. So yeah, I wish I could go into every single detail of what I did there and stuff, but really I just kept, most of my time there was just spent talking to people, and just that I wanted to spend more time editing, but that didn't happen. but there were so many things to do there, and I thought I was going to spend a lot of time just to myself and maybe reading or knitting and editing my videos and stuff, but that didn't happen. I just talked to people because I felt like this was a rare opportunity to actually just meet these people and talk to them. And so that's what I ended up prioritizing. So anytime I got a chance to go to a meetup or to tour somebody's rig or to just talk to my neighbor next door, I did that. And I'm so glad that I did, because that's made the experience all the more enriched. And again, these are some of the most down-to-earth, amazing people I have ever met. Some of these people chose this lifestyle. Some of these people were forced into it, and then they embraced it. I would say the majority of the people who were there were retirees, but there is an increasing number of people, of younger people who are doing this by choice. You know, people like me, you know, in their 30s, 20s, you know, younger people who are seeing, you know, the reality of the situation, and maybe they don't have, you know, the highest paying jobs, and they're projecting toward the future. They're thinking about their future, and they're thinking about retirement, and thinking about what they really want to do, spending their time, what they really want to spend their time on for the rest of their lives. And travel and nomadism is one of the most rewarding ways to spend your life, in my opinion. And you're going to meet so many people and eat so many different kinds of food and experience so many different cultures, and it's going to be cheaper. Your cost of living is going to be ridiculously cheaper living on the road. And I think more and more young people are starting to realize that, and I think this is a growing movement that is not going to stop. I think more young people are going to see the value in it, and you know, going to be starting families on the road as well. I'm starting to see that more and more and more, like at least on YouTube, I'm seeing that more and more, you know, people converting big vans and school buses because they are projecting that to the future, and people investing in tiny homes and you know, the tiny house movement. I think this is definitely a part of that, that whole movement of just downsizing and minimalism, and people just living more minimalistically and stretching their dollar farther, and it just makes sense. It makes so much more sense, and people are going to be able to retire more comfortably living that lifestyle, you know, if they're smart with their money, of course, and just have fewer expenses living this. So it's all positives, and there are some things that are uncomfortable about it, of course, but if you're willing to give up some of those comforts, you know, those comforts of living in a house with, you know, a flushing toilet, you know, the modern comforts that we've become accustomed to, if you are willing to give up some of those things, then you can live a really cheap life. You can bring home more of your own money and keep more of your money, and it just makes sense. So I give the RTR an A++++. You should definitely check it out. If you want to find out more information about the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, go to cheaprvliving.com. And you can also type in Cheap RV Living into YouTube and check out Bob Wells' channel. He's the guy who started it. All of the information will be there and on the website, and it's free. It's a free event. Definitely check it out. It's a really, really rewarding experience. You know, even if you're not considering living on the road, I highly recommend going just for the experience of it. It's really, really awesome. You're going to meet some great people and have a great time. And dogs. Oh my gosh, there were so many dogs there. That was another thing that was super cool. You would have thought it was Dog Fest. Definitely go check it out. Again, thanks again to Bob Wells and his entire team for putting this amazing event together that we all have the privilege to enjoy. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. I'm going to be traveling to as many places as I can. There's already several videos in the pipeline from big events that have happened around the Atlanta area. Atlanta's got a lot of great stuff going on here, so even when I can't travel far to an awesome location, there are a lot of awesome things to do in and around the Atlanta area. So got lots of awesome content coming to you guys. This is Araya Isabel with LivingBigInAPrius, and as always, thanks for watching.